All right, hi everybody. This is Kubernetes SIG, production readiness sub-project meeting of SIG architecture um, for May 14th. All right, Matcha, you have an item here.
Yeah, so we discussed last week the idea of changing the soft freeze. I went and discussed and presented the topic to the SIG release. The response from the SIG release was very positive. They did promise that they will be able to implement this, but only starting from 135 for sure. For 134, it might be a little bit late in the cycle. So they will try to do it, but it's not a hard promise. So definitely for 135 and onwards, we will have that 1 week before actual freeze where people will be required to have a cap update opened.
Right.
Otherwise,
So
they'll have to
basically,
go with.
the the bar is they can't open a cap change in the last week.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay.
Hopefully that will force people to actually do it. I don't know how others approach it, but if I'm open a PR, I'm gonna just start working on this thing and
Me as
usually
well.
have it in a close to finish final state, especially if it's a simple, I don't know, beta type of a change or something along those lines.
Right. So for background for I guess we have a new person here, Arno, but for Matt, the idea here is we always had this soft freeze where we ask people to have all their changes in a week early for production readiness. Otherwise, we would only make a best effort. But the problem is we always succeeded in our best efforts. Um, so anyway, we're gonna make that a little bit tighter now, where we're like we have a brighter line, which is they actually have the PR has to be open before then, and we're hoping that most people will open the PR and actually do work, not just open a PR with you know minimal changes, and then that should give at least a couple of days, at least a day or two for shadows to come in and do something. But we're hoping it would be we'll have even more time than that. We do have some caps already, like kind of ready for review, at least on the DRA side. I know some of our caps are ready, so it might be helpful. We haven't done opt-in. The cycle hasn't officially started yet, but once we have the board up, we should be able to start working. And I know Matt, you couldn't access you couldn't changes in the board because of the org issues and stuff. So we'll just create a thread on Slack, and you can just say the ones you want, and we'll also go and update it.
Sounds good.
So then the other, I think, thing we wanted to talk about was David's. Let me grab it off of Slack. PR here. Beta requirements changes. So, David, you want to just make a few comments here?
Sure. So I guess over the course of the last 6 months, we have been discussing in SIG architecture on mailing lists and meetings and through a couple of docs, the need to provide a higher standard for beta. In particular, that we want our betas, which is essentially shorthand for enabled for the first time in production, or enableable for the first time in production, to have a complete set of functionality, monitoring, security, testing, and known bugs fixed. And we formalized it with a PR to change the KEP template and to provide a document in the enhancements repo to explain it. We reviewed that in SIG Arch and it merged last week. This week, or not this week, it merged last week. This release, most keps probably will have the old template. And one of the things that is pretty easy for us to do in PRR is say, hey, you're missing these items for the beta promotion criteria. And so we sent out an email last week saying that in PRR review, we would go ahead and do that, provided links for where that is in the template. So it'll be very straightforward to do. Hopefully it won't be too much more additional load. I wouldn't really think so, given that when a KEP moves to beta, they already have the monitoring aspects, which are kind of the hardest, enumerated in that PRR section. So, Mache, you were asking about it 2 weeks ago. I think this is what you were expecting. And let's see who else is here. The other approvers aren't here, but does that match what you were thinking, Mache? Hopefully.
Yep.
Okay.
And this applies basically to everything moving to beta in this release. Even if they were already alpha in a previous release, it's a beta change to the, make sure that anybody moving to beta. It's early enough in the cycle that I think people should be prepared to put in the work. Awesome. So speaking of the cycle, yeah, we are starting. I think that officially starts next week, although I don't know what that means exactly, because I guess it means that the board will become available and things like that, because people are working right now, but which is good, right? We want people to be working even when it's so. As we start to get things opted in, like let's make an effort this time to try and get reviews in as quickly and early as possible. And for the approvers here, let's try to pull in the shadows. I'll make a call out. I didn't do it before this meeting. I probably should have, but I'll make a call out on Slack to people who have shadowed in the past, and sort of like I've done the last few releases, just say, hey, we're starting up. Can you commit to doing shadowing? And then do we want to pair shadows with a specific approver? Like we haven't done that in the past, but like I feel like maybe it's a little bit too laissez-faire, and like it's like if I knew, oh, I'm gonna at least I don't know, it's an idea, because we keep talking about how do we get more shadow participation. If I know, oh, I'm responsible for mentoring this person, this person, this person, then I'm gonna remember them when I go to do a review, and I'm gonna ping them and say, hey, I'm gonna do this review. I'll do it tomorrow if you want to take a cut at it today or whatever it is. Like, whereas if it's like, oh, there's some shadows who might participate at some point, but I've got time, we're just gonna do it. What do you think? Ah.
I'm open to that. I think that's a cool
Yeah,
idea.
I think it's a good idea as well.
Okay, then I'll put that into the call to action for shadows, and we'll get by next meeting we'll have everybody paired up. We should have a bunch of keps hopefully already opted in, and we should be able to get rolling earlier this time, I think.
Right, so that's.
All right, any other thoughts here? I don't know if I see there's two new people, Arno and Peter. I don't know if you want to say hello, or if you're interested in shadowing, or you're just checking out what we do here.
Hey, hi guys. It would be the latter. Yeah. So my name is Peter Kramer. I'm relatively new to open source, starting out just recently, and yeah, so I'm quote unquote like casually exploring different meetings, activities, efforts of groups, trying to understand what the key deliverables are, and yeah.
Okay, great. Well, if you have any questions, feel free to ask them here now or on Slack later. But basically, we try to just make sure that new stuff coming into Kubernetes is, able to be turned on and off safely while it's in development, and when it's ready for production, it's able to be supported properly and observed properly, upgraded properly, all of that stuff. So that's kind of the role of this group, and we review the designs. Really, we don't really use code for that. We rely on the SIG to do that, but we review the designs and make sure people are thinking about all of these things in their design process early on. So, welcome. All right. If no one wants to say something, that's fine. If not, then we'll just wrap it up. I think early because we've got, unless somebody else has topics. Okay. All right. Thank you, everybody, and I'll see you in 2 weeks. All right.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye, folks.